All right, today we are tackling something that I think a lot of us struggle with: time management. But this isn't just about cramming more stuff into your day. It's about making a real shift from just feeling busy all the time to actually being productive. We're going to look at some really powerful ways to make that happen. So let's get into it. You know that feeling, right? You're running around all day, you're firing off emails, you're jumping from one meeting to the next, handling a million little things. And then you hit 5 p.m. You look back at your day and you just wonder, where did the time go? And more importantly, why didn't I touch that one big project that really matters? If that sounds familiar, trust me, you are not alone. It's a classic symptom of a super common problem.
Well, there's a name for this. It's called the firefighting mindset. It's that state where your day is basically hijacked by whatever is screaming the loudest, not what's actually the most important. And it's more than just a bad habit. It's a one-way ticket to burnout because you're always reacting instead of moving forward. So how in the world do we break out of that cycle?
To solve this, we first have to really get what's trapping us in the first place. These are kind of like the invisible forces that just completely derail our best intentions and keep us stuck in that firefighting mode. And it all starts with a really common and really damaging myth about how we work. And this brings us to a huge myth. We all love to say we can multitask, but the hard truth is our brains just aren't built for it. What we're really doing is something called switch tasking. We're just rapidly bouncing our focus between different things. And believe me, the cost is huge. Studies actually show that doing this can temporarily drop your IQ and makes you way more likely to make mistakes.
And get this, it can take up to 23 minutes to fully get back into a state of deep focus after just one little interruption. Let that sink in. Every time you glance at a notification or answer that real quick question, you're not just losing 30 seconds, you're potentially torching over 20 minutes of your best, high-quality thinking time. So, here's the thing. Before we can even think about fixing our calendars, we have to fix our mindset. This is all about winning the mental game before you even open up your laptop for the day. Let's talk about procrastination for a second. We tend to beat ourselves up about it, right? We think it's a character flaw, that we're just being lazy, but it's not. It's actually a biological response. When you're staring at some massive, intimidating project, your brain's fear center, the amygdala, literally sees it as a threat. So it runs away to something easy and safe, like checking email, to get a little hit of relief. Just understanding that it's a defense mechanism is the first step to overcoming it. Okay, here's a really powerful way I want you to start thinking about your day. Picture your time like a bank account. Every single morning, you get a fresh deposit of 8 work hours. No more, no less. The big question is, are you investing that time, that currency, into high-value work that actually pushes your goals forward? Or are you just kind of frittering it away on a bunch of low-value stuff that just keeps you busy? All right, so once we've got our heads in the right space, let's look at 2 incredibly powerful tools that will help you cut through all the noise and figure out what's truly important. First up, we have the 80-20 rule. You might have heard it called the Pareto principle. The basic idea is this. For most things in life, about 80% of your results will come from just 20% of your efforts. When you apply that to your workday, it means that just a few of your tasks, the vital few, are the ones generating almost all of your real value. Okay, let's make this real. Look at this example of Mark's to-do list. The difference is night and day, right? Over on the right, you've got all that busy work, deleting spam, tweaking his email signature. These things eat up his time but don't really move the needle. But on the left, that's the good stuff. Solving a problem for a huge client, training a new person to make the whole team better, that's his 20%. That's the work that really counts. The second tool is the ABCDE Method. This is a super simple but seriously effective way to sort through your to-do list based on consequences. A tasks are your non-negotiables. There are serious negative consequences if you don't do them. B tasks are things you should do, but the consequences are pretty mild if you don't. C tasks are just nice to do, no consequences at all. And then D is for delegate and E is for eliminate, things you can give away or just stop doing completely. But here's the real key. This is the golden rule that makes the whole thing work. You have to have the discipline to never do a B task when there is an A task still sitting there unfinished. It's so tempting to knock out those easy C tasks first to get that little rush of feeling productive. But this forces you to focus on what actually has real stakes. Okay, so we've got the right mindset, we know our priorities. Now for the big question. How do we actually do it? let's talk about the specific habits that turn these ideas into daily action.
So, remember that inefficient switch tasking we talked about? Well, the antidote is something called single tasking. It's exactly what it sounds like. You close every other tab, you put your phone on silent and out of sight, and you give 100% of your brain power to one thing until it's done. By avoiding that mental switch cost, you work faster, and just as importantly, you make far fewer mistakes.
All right, next up is a technique called time blocking. So instead of just having this endless, kind of stressful to-do list, you start living by your calendar. You take your important tasks, your A tasks, and you give each one a specific home, a protected block of time on your schedule. This tells your brain and everyone else, hey, this time is already taken. It ensures your most important work doesn't get shoved aside by random stuff.
This next one is so simple, but it's a total game changer for getting rid of that mental clutter. It's the 2-minute rule. Here's how it works. If a new task comes your way, a quick email, signing a document, and you know it'll take less than 2 minutes to do, just do it right then and there. Don't write it down, don't put it off, just get it out of the way.
And the thinking behind this is just, it's so smart. The mental energy you spend logging a tiny task, remembering it, and then coming back to it later is often way more draining than the energy it takes to just do it immediately. This one simple rule stops all those little tasks from piling up and creating a mountain of distractions. Look, any of these ideas can work for a day or two, but the real goal here is to make these changes stick, right? And for that, you need to build a system around yourself that protects your new way of working.
And a huge part of that is a skill called managing up. Now, this isn't about just saying no to your boss. Not at all. It's about bringing clarity. The wrong way is to just say yes to everything until you're completely buried. The right way is to say, okay, I can absolutely do that. Right now, my priorities are A and B. To make room for this new task, which of these would you like me to push back? This changes the dynamic completely. You become a proactive partner in managing your workload. And finally, let's talk about your actual workspace. You have to design an environment that makes focusing the easy option. Physically, a clean desk really does lead to a clearer mind. Auditorily, a pair of noise-canceling headphones is like a do not disturb sign for the real world. But the big one is digital. Turn off all those non-essential desktop notifications. Every pop-up, every banner, get rid of them. They are the #1 enemy of deep work. Okay, so let's put all the pieces together in a quick recap. It all starts with the mindset. That's the why. That's about seeing your time as a precious resource and figuring out what's stealing it. Then comes the strategy. That's the what. This is where you use powerful filters like the 80-20 rule and the ABCDE method to pinpoint the work that truly delivers results. Then, once you know what you should be doing, we move to execution. That's the how. This is where you actually do the work using single tasking, time blocking, and the 2-minute rule. And finally, you have to protect this entire system with maintenance by managing up to keep your priorities aligned and designing an environment that helps you win. So I'm going to leave you with a challenge. Think about tomorrow. You're getting a brand new 8-hour deposit in your time bank. What is the one crucial, high-impact A task that you are going to protect no matter what?